Tuning in on Twitch. We're just getting things going, so give me just a second or two to make certain that everything is where it needs to be. It is Friday night. I think we finally got our camera issues fixed. Getting the lights on kind of helped on that, so good news for everything going on there. And for right now, let me just double check that we're doing everything we need to be doing on Facebook. We're going to try to get on Tumblr and YouTube here in the course of the next several days, if at all possible. We're expecting to get some new computer systems on here, and that should help. Okay, audio sounds good on Facebook, making certain all that is working properly, and it looks like we are good to go. All right, just sorry about the delay. It is a little bit later than what we usually do for weather overtime. It's about 10 o'clock, just coming up on 10 o'clock Eastern time, and it is Friday night, so as of right now, things are very much on the quiet side. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Again, email address is aonek@wdef.com. If you'd like to contact anybody at News 12, go to our website, wdef.com/weather, for our complete forecast, and we'll have updates coming up through the rest of the weekend. Good news for today is that we finally got some rainfall in the area. It wasn't much, but we did manage to get just a little bit in here, and some of that by 10 o'clock is still making its way into the area from northern parts of Alabama. So we are seeing some of that activity making its way up from the southwest around DeKalb and Jackson counties, now just east of Huntsville. So we are seeing a little bit more rain coming our direction, and we will be looking for more potential of rain throughout the next couple of hours. Nowhere near flash flooding status, not even any lightning being detected at this time. So we've got the potential of some more scattered showers coming up here from Mississippi and western areas of Alabama. So expecting some more raindrops there, and as we go into overnight. So definitely want to pay attention for the potential of more rainfall, especially if you're driving. I don't think we're going to get too much in the way of major problems with rain, but it will be maybe some wet roadways out there. So how did we do? We actually wound up with a measurable amount. Anything less than 1/100th of an inch is considered a trace amount, or almost too small to be recorded. So today we actually wound up with 3/100ths of an inch of rainfall. So that's pretty good considering where we were, and considering that in the month of September and October, we didn't even, I think we cracked maybe half an inch total for both months being a total there. We did not get hardly anything for today, but at least we did get something, because we are now behind for the month by 1.33 inches and behind for the year by over 8 inches. There's roughly, give or take, about 7 weeks left in the year, which means for us to make up that deficit, we would need to have over 1 inch of rain every single week for the rest of the year. Now, whether or not we get that far, we are seeing some more rainfall potential over the next couple of days, but again, and into the next week, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now, we are going to probably wind up with a deficit for 2023. Very close to where we should be on the temperatures, a little warmer on the lows, but we wound up smack normal with temperatures back in the mid-60s, and that was set very, very early this morning, just past about midnight. Temperatures dropped through the day. It's basically in the mid-50s for right now, and we're continuing to see some very cool numbers throughout the rest of the evening coming our direction. So right at the top of the hour, with a little bit of showers out there, we are seeing lower 50s, decently comfortable, again, not bad, and we finally got enough moisture-rich air in here to allow that chance of rain to drop all the way down to portions of the area, again, to allow the rainfall to go from several thousand feet up down to where we are. If this was any drier, then a lot of the moisture that is moving in would just evaporate, just basically get absorbed by the atmosphere, and we're not seeing that, so at least we're getting some of that rainfall into the area, not helping to cool things off too much, and again, not seeing anything in the way of frozen precipitation, so some good news where that is concerned. Island Cove Marina and Resort, plenty of cloud cover out there for the time being. From downtown, looking at overcast skies, a little bit less busy than what it was at rush hour just a little while ago on the Bailey's Heating and Air camera. Lee Point, traffic at 153 and 64 on the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera, moving along pretty well. Back to downtown for just a split second. I-24 traffic getting a little slow on the eastbound side of things due to construction going on just to the right-hand side of this camera back over toward the Rossville exit, and not much rain on the camera lens there. Bridge lights are mostly off at this time over Coolidge Park and the Tennessee River from Speedy's Total Car Care, Chattanooga Theater Center. All of these cameras you can pick up by going to our EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network if you'd like to see more there. Traffic at 2475 South Central Chattanooga. Everything is moving along quite nicely for tonight, so we're not seeing any problems at all with travel. And the roadway's not really wet, not seeing a lot of very damp conditions either until the rain really decides to kind of settle on in here through the rest of the evening. So that, again, is going to help out a little bit with the fire danger. We'll continue to see burn bans in effect until the issuing authorities rescind them. So that's what we'll be watching for now. And it looks like the good news is that with this passage of the front, we'll be at least sweeping some of this smoke out of here. There will still be some smoke from fires around West Virginia, Kentucky, the Western Virginias area, and also into the Carolinas. And some of that smoke will be sticking around, but it won't be quite as bad as what it was this last week. Actually, some very good air quality across the area from earlier on. We've got a front sitting to our south and then another one back to our north. That'll be a reinforcing shot of the cooler air, and again, some scattered light showers in between here. So most of what we're looking at is just this moisture here, which will be kind of escorted this direction, shuttled this way, right between those two cold fronts. Back to the north, a little bit cooler conditions, but not much in the way of moisture. So there will be some chances of rainfall as we go into the course of the next couple of days, but not great chances out there. That moisture down to the south, again, comes up our direction, passes on through. So by daybreak tomorrow, there will be some scattered showers. So if you're getting going very early, allow for some extra time on the what could be wet roadways, so please keep that in mind if you're going to be driving. Through the rest of the day, we're not seeing too much taking place, and then we start to see more potential for some speckles of showers by early Sunday morning. So heading off early to church, Sunday school, or wherever you may be going, good possibility of some scattered showers out there, and low temperatures back in the lower to mid 50s. Seems like we're going to clear out a little bit. At least this computer model thinks the clouds are going to drop to the south and allow for some more sunshine, so it's giving us some warmer temperatures here. The rest of the area, cloud cover and cooler, blocking out some of that sunshine. Atlanta, Birmingham, and around portions of areas south of Chattanooga. So that will depend again on how far south those clouds go, and we'll see where we wind up there. On Monday morning, cooler, drier air sets in, and that takes our numbers down into the 30s and 40s. So bus stop time and temperature will be brisk at least, and maybe even some frost well back up to our north, and a beautiful Monday afternoon coming up with temperatures pushing 70 degrees. So I think we've got a good forecast out there. The chances of rain will be with us off and on through the weekend, but it doesn't look to be a deluge. And for much of Veterans Day, I just really don't see too much going on, but there will be more chances of rainfall coming into the area off and on into the weekend. So outdoor activities, basically, I think right now the one thing you should do is get some rain protection to take with you just in case. Might be a tad breezy at times, but I think temperatures will be decently mild, just below normal for this time of the year, and maybe some scattered showers coming up as we go into the forecast through the weekend itself. So not, again, an overkill where it comes to rainfall, but it will be the potential of some of that rain out there. All right, going a little farther afield, again, through about Sunday, everything leaves the area. By Tuesday into Wednesday, late Tuesday, early Wednesday, more chances of showers arrive. We dry out a little bit for that period just past Thursday. Thursday into Friday, another chance of some scattered showers toward the end of the week. So we've got a 1-2 punch of sorts coming on through here. And then by next week, the week of Thanksgiving, we see what looks to be a very decent amount of rainfall from the Great Lakes down to the Gulf forming. Now keep in mind, again, this is way in the future, so until that date arrives, gets closer to us, this forecast will change quite a bit. We're not seeing anything in the way of winter weather for the area, so that's good right before we hit the heavier travel conditions of pre and post Thanksgiving. So for now, just rain, and we could use that for any outdoor camping going on. But there will be better chances of rain off and on throughout the course of the next several days. So if you've got any plans outdoors, this could be an issue. Driving for holiday travel, a lot of people getting going early before anything happens. Again, hitting the roadway, check the forecast, stay with News 12, and we'll keep you updated on that. We're not seeing anything, again, in the way of major amounts of problems where it comes to rainfall so far, at least. But that could change, and again, at this time of the year, we want to make certain everybody is ready to go on things like that. All right, for what we're doing for the next few days, this is our 7-day forecast for this area, and again, we continue to see potential of rainfall out there. Sarah Eleogram, hope I'm saying that right, Roberts, welcome to the show. Thanks for checking in on our Facebook Live, and everybody who's joined us on Twitch, thanks a lot for following along. Nice to have some followers on Twitch finally, and keeping track of what's going on with the weather there. Again, if you're just joining us, we are live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek at News 12 in Chattanooga, and more details on our complete forecast. You can get graphics like this at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to follow along. Decently cloudy conditions at Island Cove. Cool this weekend, just below normal on the temperatures. A little bit warmer with a little bit more sunshine into around Monday and Tuesday. Cooling off as our next system arrives, so we get some rain, clouds, and that'll block the sun, so a little bit cooler into around Wednesday. Then we get into the rest of next week. Temperatures bounce above normal by Friday. Brian Armstrong in our sports department is not going to appreciate this because we got more chances of rain. That chance of rain we showed you toward the end of next week looks like could be another Friday night football incident there with chances of rain. Yes, we're getting into the end of the season, the championships coming up, and there may still be some Friday night football for some folks going on in the area coming up next week. Usually wraps up around about before Thanksgiving or so, depending on how well the teams do. So for Friday night next, I would say get the rain gear ready again. You might need it. Hopefully it's not a problem. I should add at this point that we're not seeing anything in the way of severe weather, and we are in severe weather season number 2, and there's things you can do to get ready for that. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But yes, to rainfall, not seeing anything in the way of any severe weather. At this time, really don't see any threat of any thunderstorms coming through, so that is good news, and hopefully it stays that way for the next several days. But as per necessary, we'll keep our eyes on that, so please keep it tuned to News 12 for more details there if you'd like to know a little bit more about what's happening. All right, severe weather, there are a lot of things you can do to get ready for severe weather season number 2 and the number 1 season coming up after we go into the new year, and it's important, to get ready for that. Want to program your weather radio? We can help you do that. Excuse me again. All you have to do is go to wdef.com/weather, and you can find out more about how to program your weather radio as you go into severe weather season. You don't have to be alerted for everything the National Weather Service throws out there. So if you don't want to be alerted, if you live west of the area around Chattanooga and you're done with the severe weather passing on through, you don't have to have Hamilton County loaded into your computer that runs these weather radios. So really cool to be able to have that available. If you'd like to have that out there, go to wdef.com/weather for more on that. Skywarn is a volunteer organization. It's your opportunity as a citizen to help with severe weather. The more eyes and ears we have of Skywarn spotters out in the field, then the better off everybody is protected in the community. If you're a Skywarn spotter and you phone in information about what's going on, and this is something that I talk to all the schools that I go talk to when I have time on this, that if you can tell the National Weather Service what you are experiencing, they can tell people like me and my colleagues here at News 12, and then we can tell everybody else because you're watching what's going on. This is not a chase course. If you want to learn how to chase storms, great, but do it safely and learn about storms and how the atmosphere behaves before you ever start thinking about chasing storms. And don't become what meteorology professor emeritus Professor Charles Doswell called storm chasing yahoos. Don't be that. And if you'd like to know more about what to do. The National Weather Services, there's 4 National Weather Service offices that cover this area of the country. And if you'd like to know more, you can search through their websites about this, but for National Weather Service Morristown, that covers Chattanooga and Hamilton County, they also cover a lot of counties in Tennessee. The next meeting coming up in the News 12 viewing area, there are others for Anderson County up west of Knoxville. If you'd like to see those, you can go to their website. McMinn County, Tennessee, at the courthouse on Madison Avenue in Athens, Tennessee, Thursday, December 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's coming up in just about a month or so. If you live around Athens, Tennessee, or McMinn County, this is your opportunity to get trained by the National Weather Service to become a Skywarn spotter. Now, again, this is mainly for McMinn County residents and Athens, Tennessee residents. If you're from another county around that area like Meigs, Ray, Monroe, anything like that, and you can't attend any other meetings, great, you can attend this. It's totally free. Your tax dollars, my tax dollars pay for stuff like this, but make certain you sign up for a seat. Please register at the National Weather Service website. That's weather.gov/MRX. That's the 3-letter code for the National Weather Service in Morristown. Now, for Hamilton County and everybody in Chattanooga, your opportunity is coming up in several months. It'll be Friday, February 9th, and it's at CHI Memorial Hospital on DeSales Avenue, Chattanooga, 37404. Again, you might not be able to attend other meetings, so you can attend this one. Great, but please register as soon as possible at weather.gov/MRX. These meetings last about maybe an hour, maybe 90 minutes, again, depending on how many questions get asked about what goes on. I've seen kids as young as 6 or 7 attend these meetings, and to be completely and totally honest, with these meetings, I've been attending these meetings since I was about 8 years old. Weather geek, go figure. But if these kids that you're taking there, a lot of kids that I've met before and have dealt with in a professional psychological setting, a counseling service in Memphis contacted me to see if I could help a kid who had been traumatized by severe weather. This class will give them a little bit better in the way of a grasp on what is able to be done about severe weather. Severe weather, lightning, thunder, tornadoes, wind, all that stuff out there can seem very frightening and very overpowering. This class at least gives you some control, because the more you know about what's going on, the better prepared you are and the less scared you are. So I would wholeheartedly recommend these classes to semi-younger kids, say about maybe 7 or 8 years old or up. And if they want to find out more, again, plenty of information online. Adults, anybody who's out in the field, truckers, you do not have to be law enforcement. You do not have to be an amateur radio operator. You don't have to be a specialist of any kind. You don't have to have a PhD. This is citizen science at its finest, to where you can participate in what goes on with severe weather. And to get that information, know what to look for by taking these classes. They'll train you what to look for, what you're experiencing, what to call back into the National Weather Service so they can tell everybody else. There are classifications and there are methods about what needs to be done. They'll also give you a free toll-free number to call in, so you can say, excuse me, this is John or Jane Smith calling in from 2525 DeSales Avenue in Chattanooga. I'm seeing estimated winds of 60 miles per hour, rotating wall cloud ahead and above the hospital that is moving to the northeast very quickly, and we've got power lines down, et cetera, et cetera. That information the National Weather Service can use for me, for law enforcement, for emergency personnel to say the storm is here, it's moving this direction, and these are the people who will be affected by it. Get to shelter now. That helps people who are out of the line of fire learn about what's going on. So that also can be helped by your information on all of this. So if you'd like to be a Skywarn spotter, and if you live in McMinn County, coming up in December, December the 7th, or Friday, February 9th, Hamilton County, again, totally free, but go ahead and register at weather.gov/MRX for more information. Once again, just want to put this out there. I've been getting a lot of requests for what my particular take is on the winter weather forecast. I don't issue a specific weather forecast, and I'm not saying I'm being all snooty and not issuing a forecast just because I don't want to. I could never do any better than the experts and specialists at NOAA. So if you'd like to know more about what's going on with the winter outlook coming up for 2023-24, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has posted their outlook, and it's available right now at noaa.gov, and you can get all the information about precipitation outlooks and about temperature outlooks and things of that nature. So head to our website, wdef.com/weather, posted there, also on my social media pages, but tons of information available if you'd like to see a little bit more about what is coming up in your area. Coming up tomorrow, heading out to the golf course, looks a little bit on the cooler side, so temperatures will be decently mild and fairly near normal temperatures. So far, the only thing you should have to worry about is just, again, a spirited gopher out there. And if you haven't seen Caddyshack, you know to be afraid of them because they could be a little bit on the tricky side out across some of those golf courses out there. Your Food City certified Angus beef on the grill cast, ignoring Friday since 7 p.m. is already come and gone. But for the weekend, some showers possible around the time you grill at 7 p.m. and about Sunday at 7, looking at cloudy and cool skies as we go into the weekend, but no rainfall chances expected there. So good news on that. Want to tell you about a couple of astronomical events coming up. And this one, let me go to this one. Well, let's see. Let's start with this one first, since we got the good news on this. The University of Tennessee Clarence T. Jones Observatory caught fire a few weeks ago, and because of that, because of the investigation and the cleanup and getting the evacuation of the smoky smell going on, the star parties, the little public events were canceled. But this week, the star parties are back on. The observatory has cleaned up and things are looking better. So the star party for this Sunday, the 12th of November, is back on again. Gates open at 5:30. Lecture and planetarium show begins at 6, and the lecture will be cryovolcanoes. Really cool topic, and to see them elsewhere in the solar system, really neat to take a look at that. And featured constellations, we're talking about the Pleiades. If you've never seen those through a telescope, dynamic to be able to look at that. Telescope viewing could be kind of iffy here. Again, with clouds off and on, it's difficult to say if we'll have that clearing conditions come on in, but hopefully it will. utc.edu and search for Clarence T. Jones Observatory, or find them on their Facebook page. And again, that's Sunday, this Sunday, the 12th, starting again at 5:30 and going through about 8 to 9 o'clock or so. More information on their websites available there. Now, day earlier than that, coming up tomorrow on Saturday, Veterans Day, during the evening, again, two words here you need to pay attention to: weather permitting. It may be too cloudy for that, so again, please keep that in mind for tomorrow. The Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding their next star party, where you can look through their telescopes, ask questions about which telescope would be a good one to give as a gift to an amateur or young astronomer. They also have meetings on that coming up, if I'm not mistaken, on there. They usually post on their social media whether or not they're going to have their weather permitting star party at about 3 o'clock Eastern time. So if you'd like to keep up with them and see what's going on, check out their websites to see if that is going to be an occurrence, because they might postpone it or cancel it. And so just to know about that, so you don't, again, head to Harrison Bay State Park ahead of time with nothing going on, check out their social media pages, and they'll have more details about that to make sure that everybody's not inconvenienced on that as we go throughout the next couple of days. Really good opportunity to practice backyard astronomy, really good opportunity to get your kids involved in what's going on. So definitely want to take that into account and see if you can get out there and do a little bit more about science. Really cool to be able to see that. Would like to take this opportunity to both thank the veterans out there, as my late dad, a 24-year veteran of the Kansas Army National Guard, used to do out in public, to make certain that he retired a full major in the Kansas Army National Guard with a, as he put it, free all expenses paid trip to South Vietnam back when I was about 1 year old. And he always made the point to, whenever you saw anybody wearing military uniform out in public, to shake their hand and to say thank you for wearing the uniform of our country. I try to do that as often as possible, and with Veterans Day coming up, again, just a big thank you there. But here's the thing: over the next several days and weeks as we approach the holiday season, a lot of folks out there will not be able to make their way home. Matter of fact, a lot of them preparing for shift and duty roster changes are going to be heading out and will not be back again until probably sometime during the new year. So a lot of families celebrating Christmas early. So at this time of the year, we usually save this until after Thanksgiving, but I think right now would be a good time to bring it back because a lot of people are going to be in motion and they're going to be very far away from home, and they're not going to be able to be home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, parties on New Year's, family entertainment, stuff like that around. So what we do, it's not much, but it is something to be able to let the folks on the home front here know about what's happening. And maybe if you're in the military and you see this wherever you happen to be, again, thank you for your service to our country, for helping out. So we're going to be featuring, again, numerous locations that show what's going on with the weather, where United States service personnel may be serving. We show nothing that is anything in the way of top secret. This is all public, very easily accessible weather information. This is not doing the aid and comfort to the enemy, as I have been accused of by some people before. This just shows a little bit more about what's going on, and maybe you have friends and family, loved ones serving in these locations, and if you do, glad that we are able to be of service to let you know a little bit more about what's happening. But we'll be featuring these as we run up to Thanksgiving in the next couple of weeks and months, and of course that time between Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's, Kwanzaa, all those holidays going on. It's nice to know a little bit more about what's going on, where you may have friends and loved ones. So it's a small little effort, but at least we want to be able to show a little bit more about what's going on, because as my dad used to say, that the people who are at home while you are on your service, your duty, wherever you happen to be, you're just as much a part of the military family as anybody who wears the uniform, because you're providing that level of comfort and that knowledge that you're at home while they, whoever he or she happens to be, thousands, hundreds of miles away from wherever you are at the time, at least you're thinking of them and you're providing them with the psychological support of what they need to be part of that family, to be able to do their job. So hopefully maybe this will help out by just a little bit. So starting off with Thule Air Base at Patuxent Airport, again up in northwestern Greenland, originally part of the Dew Line up around that area. Looking again at some very, as you might expect, going into winter in Greenland, 17 degrees right now, winds out of the east at about 7, so that's giving a wind chill of about 8 degrees. So one of the more inhospitable places on our planet to take a look at there. A little bit farther in the opposite direction, going back to around the area of the Korean Peninsula. It is noon right now, Saturday at noon, over the date line, and looking at the many bases south of the DMZ, all the way down to the Pusan perimeter and areas around Seoul. Not too much to be seen here in the way of major problems. Definitely feeling more like winter, with temperatures in Seoul in the upper 30s with plenty of sunshine. Partly cloudy around Camp Hovey, around the Gapyeong area. Daegu at 48 at the airbase. Gunsan, Camp Humphreys, 42 degrees. 41 at Gwangjup. I hope I'm saying these names correctly. With a name like Onek, I want to make certain everything's taken care of. And around Busan, a little bit milder, some temperatures back in the mid-50s with plenty of sunshine there. We'll be bringing more locations. We have several of them to choose from all over the world. Diego Garcia, bases in Japan, back into around Germany, places in Spain, all around the world. So we'll be bringing you more of these in the course of the next several days and weeks. So keep it tuned to News 12 for more on where the troops are. You never can tell where the next update will come from. So find out more about what is happening there, and we'll keep you advised on that. One more astronomical note before we wrap things up. Again, into this weekend, the sun let out a good burp air of a huge amount of plasma has launched itself off the solar surface, and that is heading our direction. It does not look to be a catastrophic event like the Carrington event back in 1859, I want to say, but tonight's aurora is going to be much weaker than Saturday's aurora, which again is going to be quite powerful, and it looks like it's going to be coming all the way down to the Great Lakes at least. That red line that you see right there through Nebraska, Iowa, Chicago, back up through Buffalo, Detroit, and over toward north of New York and Boston. That's the estimated southernmost extent of the aurora. So it's possible that areas north of here, if we had some clear skies, I would say we might be able to see it, but we're going to have all those clouds out there, so it's going to be difficult to see for our point of view. But I'm showing you this because of the fact that I'd keep an eye on the internet, because there could be some really good views north of us where we have some clear skies. If you know anybody north of, say, I-70, I-80 in that area, you might want to tell them to keep their eyes peeled for what could be some spectacular auroras much farther south than what they usually are. There's something to think about on that. Now, usually, again, it takes a very powerful storm to get all the way down our direction. We're talking like major solar storm. This one, the KP index is what they use. Planetary energy basically is what they monitor, and a 6 or a 7 would get, again, about as far down as where it's going to be this time around. It'll be about a 6, I think, this time, but it would take about a 9 for it to get all the way down this direction. If you want to know more, spaceweather.com. Dr. Tamitha Skov, Space Weather Woman, she does a great job, a solar scientist. Really cool to follow her on that. You can also go to the University of Alaska at Fairbanks for more of these maps. You can also go to, and I'm not kidding about this, a lot of people have said so before, to where we're just making these things up. No, we're not. The Space Weather Prediction Center, or SWPC from NOAA, it's a real agency, and they look at how energy from the sun can affect our planet 93 million miles away. They have forecasts, they have all sorts of information to take a look at. Really cool website, swpc.noaa.gov, and they're on Facebook and on other social media. So if you'd like to know more, go ahead and take a look, but we'll be watching for this coming up this weekend. We'll see just how much we wind up with that in the near future. Hopefully, we might, if we get clear enough skies, which I doubt at this time, we might see a red glow very far on the horizon. And usually if you open up your shutters of your camera and let it sit there, you might see something. We'll see. Again, forecasting auroras is not a great science. So again, it's not a perfect science, I should say. It is a great science in and of the way that we go there. Facebook Live, Trey Cool. Yes, glad you got your Skywarn certification as well. Welcome to the show from Collierville. And if you do get anything, yeah, I think I saw some of your pictures last time around, so if you get anything, would love to see that. So please send them along. Rick Bircher, welcome to the show. Thanks for watching the show from up and around Topeka. Hope everything's going well with your dad and Bethany up that direction. You also to say that to all military people I see in public. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Glad to know that you're doing that. Mr. Bircher, known him for quite some time. His dad used to be one of my directors at KTKA TV 49 in Topeka, and Rich's daughter, Bethany, is my goddaughter. So saying hello to Clan Bircher back in Topeka, Kansas, and hope it's not too chilly up that direction for right now. So again, hope it's not looking too chilly for the time being, but some colder weather coming your way. National Novel Writing Month is approaching its midway point. It's called NaNoWriMo, and it's your opportunity to get out that novel you may have stuck in your head. 50,000 words by the end of November, and by now you should be about roughly a third of the way through, so you should have, give or take, about 20,000 words, somewhere in there, on paper. Get it on paper, edit it later, but just type, write, whatever it is, get it out of your head. Forecast for tomorrow, probably a good day for indoors unless you get a good dry shade place around the area. Chattanooga Public Library, I went down there to renew my library card, and they have some very nice places set up to where you can do some good work. in a nice, quiet, dry atmosphere. So good opportunity for more on that. NaNoWriMo, NaNoWriMo.org, I think it is. But your opportunity to join in, get a certificate if you finish, it's a great opportunity to test yourself and to get that novel going that you've been wanting to get going for quite some time on there. Okay, wow, we have gone way over 1/2 hour. Apologies for blathering on so much. But again, thanks for joining me on Facebook and Twitch TV for the Friday night edition of Weather Overtime. I'll be monitoring from home. Meteorologist Todd Heislip will have your forecast coming up tomorrow evening and Sunday evening at 11 o'clock, so you can find out more there. And, of course, we'll have more on our website available at wdef.com/weather, so stay tuned for more there. And I'll be back with you on Monday evening for the updated forecast there, and Chip Chapman will be back with you on Monday morning, bright and early. It's going to be a chilly one, so make certain you watch Chip to know how to get the kids dressed for the school bus stop and how to get ready for the rest of your week. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from Chattanooga, Tennessee at News 12 on Broad Street. Thanks for joining us tonight, and stay tuned for more. Hope you have a happy and, importantly, a safe weekend out there, and stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online throughout the rest of the weekend. Thanks for joining us.